Hey U5 coaches, thanks again for checking in and watching this training video. What we're going to do this week is not have a big idea. We're not going to introduce a new soccer skill this week. We're actually going to reiterate and reinforce the first two lessons that we learned the first 2 weeks. Now, if you remember, the first week was my ball is my buddy, and I want to take him with me wherever I go. We were just talking about dribbling, keeping the ball close to our feet. Our buddy likes to roll on the ground. We're going to reinforce that idea this week. We're also going to talk about the second week's lesson plan, which was my buddy likes to go far and he likes to go fast. And last week we were talking about kicking the ball with our laces and with the inside of our foot in order to make our buddy go fast in the direction that we want him to go. So these are 4 and 5 year olds. I'm like this myself. I need things reiterated. I need repetition in order to learn. And so after having a couple weeks off, we're going to just use repetition to kind of relearn those first two things. We're going to use some different games, but it's going to be those same basic ideas. The first thing that we're going to do is a real simple body movement game. It's very easy, and you can do anything you want with it. You can be as creative as you want. It's called, I can do this, what can you do? That's the name of the game. So really, you just gather the kids around, and you just start doing elementary motor skill type activities. For example, you could say to the little ones, hey, I can do this, and stand on one leg and kind of be like an airplane. Can you do that? And see if they can do that. Real elementary motor skill things. Then you might say, I can jump to the other foot and keep my balance, right? And see if they can do that. Maybe you hop on one foot. Maybe you do jumping jacks. Maybe you act like an animal. I can be like a gorilla. I can walk like a gorilla. Can you do that? Do some things like that to get them warmed up, to get them moving. They don't even need their ball. You'll see in the lesson plan, you want to start with them putting all their balls in one spot and just coming out there and getting warmed up, starting moving, and make it fun. Then, after you've done a few, invite them to say, what can you do? And see what they can do. Maybe one kid can do a somersault, and so you all do a somersault. Let's see if we can do that. Maybe another kid says, I can skip. Say, okay, let's all skip, and we skip. And just involve them, let them be a part of the game. The nature of this activity is to go from very simple to more complex. That's what we're trying to do. So we're beginning with just real elementary motor skill motions, warm-up type ideas. I can run in place. I can get my knees up real high. Anything you want to. I can fly like an airplane. Just be as creative and as goofy as you want. That's probably what's going to be most effective. But then maybe start getting a little bit more complicated. Challenge them just a little bit more. Okay? So maybe you do 2 jumping jacks, and then I can sit down and jump back up. It's just a little bit more complicated. See if they can do that. Eventually, though, we want them to go get their ball right in the middle of the activity. Don't stop and start again. Just tell them, run and get your ball, and then you start again by saying, I can do this. Have them put their ball down and maybe touch their ball with the bottom of their foot. Little toe touches on the ball. I can do that. Can you do that? And see if they can do that. Maybe you say, I can bounce the ball between my feet. Tick-tock is what we call that, or foundation. I can touch it between my feet. Or maybe I can jump over my ball and land on the other side. Be careful with that one. Sometimes they land on it and fall down. But get them doing things with their ball. And then involve them. And if they say, I can throw my ball up and catch it, that's okay. We don't have to discourage everything that isn't specifically soccer related. But let's try and bring things back to soccer related. Because we've already told them my ball is my buddy, and he likes to be on the ground. He likes to interact with my feet. So they're used to that. But if they do something different, I can bounce my ball over. That's okay. Get everybody to do it. Whatever they suggest, say, okay, let's all try that. This is just an easy warm-up game. And it also develops motor skills. And those are things that we're going to need in the game of soccer. So that's the first activity. Here's the second activity. A lot of you know this if you've had anything to do with soccer. It's called Sharks and Minnows. Okay, Sharks and Minnows is a real simple game. You just make a square. You have all of them get their ball, get on one side of that square, and you, the coach, are the shark. And they have to dribble their ball, keeping it close, their buddy, from one side of the square to the other side without the shark getting their ball. You're the shark, okay? So you say go, they try and dribble, you chase them around. Only grab balls that get kicked way too far out ahead, because we're reinforcing that idea. I keep my buddy close. I keep him under control. I keep him at my feet. And again, go easy on them. I mean, they're 4 and 5 year olds. But if a ball keeps getting kicked out of the way, you can go gobble up, maybe toss it back toward the start, and they run back and do it again. But we're going to do a little twist on this because we're trying to reiterate both the dribbling aspect as well as the kicking aspect. So after you've done maybe 3 rounds of that, where they're just trying to get through, maybe you've added in another coach or another parent to make 2 sharks or whatever, I want you to pull out maybe 3 kids and designate them as harpoonists. Maybe you can explain what that is. You're going to harpoon the shark that's trying to gobble up everybody's ball. Those 3 players will take their ball. They can run around on the inside and try and kick their ball as hard as they can at the shark, which is you or another parent or the other coaches. And if they hit you with their ball or their harpoon, as we're using our imagination, then you could die a dramatic death or something, or go lay down on the side for just a minute, and then you come back to life and you keep playing. Play enough rounds that everybody gets a chance to be a harpoonist. And in that activity, we're both dribbling. Everybody's involved. Some of them are dribbling. 3 of them are kicking the ball, and we're watching to see how they're kicking the ball. And if they're just poking it with their toe, that's an opportunity to reinforce what we talked about last week. Let's kick it straight with the inside of our foot, or let's kick it hard with the laces of our foot. That's the way our ball likes to go. He doesn't like to be poked with our toe. He likes to be kicked far and fast, and we do that by kicking it the right way. So that's the way that one will work. A couple of rounds of just simple sharks and minnows, them trying to dribble from one side to the other, and it's a win if they get to the other side. Let's celebrate that. And then after about the 3rd round, stick in 3 players as harpoonists and then rotate those out as you play a few more rounds. That should take you at least 10 minutes to get through all of that. The last game that we're going to play is called Special Delivery. A special delivery is where your players are mailmen, they're postal workers, and they've got to get their very important package, their buddy, their ball, to its destination in a hurry. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your playing area and you're going to take some of those little discs and you're just going to place them in different places randomly in that playing area. And what you're going to tell the players is, just like a mailman has to go to different houses on his route, you have to take your buddy to his final destination, but you have to go to these different places first, to all of them. So you say, you got to make sure you go and touch this one, 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 and then take one of those pug goals. That'll be the final destination where they deliver their important package, and they're in a hurry, they got to do it fast. Make sure they go to each one of those discs and then go and kick their ball into the goal. That's how they deliver their package. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're dribbling under control, we're locating these discs, and then ultimately at the end, we're kicking the ball into the goal. Reinforces all the things that we've already talked about. Okay? The way you could make that a little more tricky, you could add more discs. You could tell them they have to go in a certain order. Maybe you put them in different corners and they have to go. One thing that would be really cool if you got just a slightly more competitive group is split them in 2 and grab 2 of those pug goals and say, let's say there's 3 over here and 3 over here. You have to go to all of them and get all your balls delivered before the other team. Then you can make it a little more competitive, make it more of a game if you want to do that. If you don't have a real competitive group, then just challenge them to do it a little faster. And you could do the countdown, which is very arbitrary. 10, 9, 8, you get down to 1, 1.5, and 1 3/4, and you can do it like that, just to hurry them along, get them beating some kind of a goal, so that they feel like they're succeeding at the game they're playing. Those are the 3 games. Okay, that's all we're going to talk about for today.